Okay, so welcome back to How I Wrote It. This is the last episode in this series for my album with regards from Far Away. For those of you who are new to this or to my channel, How I Wrote It is just a series that I started 7 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. I go through each and every song on the album and I talk about how I wrote it. And that includes like melody lines and lyrics and how I put them together in the context of the album and why they're put in the places that they are. So this is the last song on the album, along with its outro. See you around, and the outro is It's All for the Best. So without further ado, let's just get into it. As far as I can remember, See You Around was always a song that was in my head, and it had been half written for so long. I just had this idea for the chorus recorded on my phone, and I would listen back to it when I knew I had to keep writing songs for this album before the deadline. And eventually it finally came to me, and I'm really proud of the result. The lyrics are super reflective, and I thought they should be, because in the story of the album, in the context of the album, this is after the relationship between the two characters that are romantically linked for the course of the album. Their romantic relationship has ended, and the main character is just reflecting on all of the experiences that they've shared in just a couple of lines that use metaphors to kind of portray this relationship that's been going on, or that went on for a while. Lyrics like, picture frames of me and you, pretending we had any clue, sits in dreams above my bed. So stuff like that, almost implying that, you know, this perfect relationship that was captured on camera is sort of just a dream and now it's over. But it's not to say that it's a sad ending. I tried to write the song to sound as hopeful as possible. So it's in my opinion, it's bright and it's sunny, and the lyrics are, like I said, I tried to write them to sound hopeful, because at the end of a relationship, everyone in their own way gets to a point where they're ready to move on and they feel like the relationship was just another step for them towards a romance and a relationship that's better suited for both people. And so in that way, I sort of hoped that other people would listen to See You Around, it's hard to say, See You Around, and feel that optimism through the lyrics and through the music. And just because it's easy to get down on yourself after the end of a relationship. It's always so easy to think, was this my fault? What could I have done to have made this better? Like, did the relationship go on too long before anything ended up happening? Or was there not enough time? And there are so many questions, but at the end of the day, what you have to realize is what's over is over, and what happened was all for the best. And that's where the outro comes from. The outro is just, the lyrics in the outro are just the title. So for the entirety of the 2-minute outro, the only lyrics that are sung are It's All for the Best. And the outro starts on just acoustic guitar and vocals, the same way that all of these songs were written by me, alone, in my room or in a practice room at school, or, sitting on my bed at home over the summer. So for the important songs, the more important songs on the album, I tried to come back to that idea that the story is being told by one person, and the viewpoint of the relationship is from one person. And in my personal experience, these songs were written by me, and so coming back to that singular viewpoint for me musically meant vocals and an acoustic guitar. And so that's how the outro starts. And then slowly more voices start to sing along and sing backgrounds and sing at different times than the lead vocals, almost as if to emphasize that sometimes it just takes saying, you know, it was all for the best over and over again, and it takes thinking that things are going to get better for things to actually get better. And so then the whole band joins in, and I wanted it to sound as optimistic as the song before it, like the song that it accompanied, but with these lyrics, these words that are saying it's all for the best. Everything's going to be okay. There's nothing to worry about anymore. You've said your piece. That was like the album, and now it's time to move on. And in a sort of full circle way, my dentist, of all people, I have plenty of stories about my dentist, but during an appointment one time, I told him about the album and that it was a concept album, and it followed the story of this relationship from beginning to end, and he told me, put the beginning in the end. Like, have the last song play into the first song so that it comes around full circle and the whole story makes sense to someone who's listening from top to bottom. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't know how to do that. At that point, I didn't know how to make it sound full circle because the intro, the first song, was actually supposed to be a different song. And after much consideration, I finally changed it to Valentine's Day, which was a song that I had written a couple years before but hadn't played for a really long time because I never felt the proper motivation to let it out into the open and let it loose. And then I figured out, 2 years later, that this concept album about a relationship and about love was the perfect platform for that song to exist. And so luckily, after I changed the first song to Valentine's Day, I realized that the chord progression in Valentine's Day and See You Around were similar enough so that I could change the chord progression at the very end and make it sound different enough to distinguish it from the song before it, but similar enough to make it sound cohesive. So halfway through the outro, the chord progression for Valentine's Day starts playing and two background voices start singing the melody from Valentine's Day. So like my dentist had encouraged me to do, I found a way to make the beginning in the end and vice versa. And so the song goes on like that until the band drops out, and slowly, one by one, each of the background vocals start to drop out so that the only voice singing is the one singing It's All for the Best. And really, at the end of the day, the product that I came away with, was a product that I'm really proud of, and a product that I feel like I put enough of my own experience in, but in a way that, like, told in a way that would make it relatable for other people listening to it. And that's really what I wanted to do, and that's always a hard line. It's always a strange line to try and find, between, like, writing a song that's personal, like very specifically personal to you and your own experiences as a sort of catharsis to just get those feelings out there, and then writing a song that is vague enough to be relatable to an audience that will listen to it and know what you're talking about. And I always found it hard to write songs that exist in both of those worlds. But with this album, I feel like I feel like that was in the back of my head the whole time. And the product that I came out with, I think, did that job. Um, and I'm super proud of the result, like I said. Uh, so, whether you've been in a relationship before, whether um, you've never been in a relationship before, uh, I encourage you to check it out and listen to it. It would help me out a lot, and it would mean the world to me to know that there are people out there listening to it, like actively, and I'm not just singing into the void, which, wouldn't be an awful thing because I love to write and I love to perform music. But I also love to share with others and share my experiences with others and create relationships based on those shared experiences. And to me, that's what being a musician is all about. So the links to listen to my album will be down below. If you go to my channel, you can find links there as well. A week from today on my Instagram, I will be performing the entirety of my album live on an acoustic guitar. So be sure to head to Instagram and check that out when it happens. I really don't know what time I'm going to do it, what time I'm going to shoot for. For more details, go to my Instagram, and throughout the next week I'll be dropping, hints as to when exactly I'm going to be doing the album performance, and I guess that's the only detail that I still need to figure out. But be sure to check out my Instagram, my Facebook page, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. Did I say SoundCloud? I don't think so. Anyway, be sure to check all that stuff out. Thank you so much for listening. For those of you who have been watching since the first video, like I said, it means the world to know that there's someone out there watching and listening to me talk about myself for what feels like 7 years. That's an exaggeration, bad exaggeration. But your support means the world to me, and I wouldn't be here without you. So the album goes out to all of you for your love and support. I've never done one of these before, so Nick signing out. I'm gonna watch more My Hero Academia and play some Castlevania. I'm running out of things to say. Okay, bye.